Thank you very much for coming out. Just so to give you a bit of a background, my name is Tetley. I'm the owner of Queensland Raceway in Lakeside, and we run about 500 events a year. Only 17 of those events are race meetings. Virtually everything we do, we invent from ground up, like happy laps and so on. And we've moved in very strongly into the recreational market area. So what we're about is giving people the opportunity to have the fun with their cars that they thought they were investing in before the cops looked at them, okay? So that's what we're trying to do in West Australia now. So the support we can get from you guys will indicate to us whether or not we can actually come over here and do the same thing here, which we would love to do. And quite frankly, I love Perth, and everybody jokes, but I live in Mullamara, so anyway. So, introducing new ways to enjoy your cars. And what that means is, as we go forward, finding new different things to do. So, for example, 4 or 5 years ago, how many clubs here go to a servo to get breakfast and then go out for their day drive? So we invented the original breakfast and happy laps. So we gave people a cholesterol reducing breakfast of baked beans and all the rest of that. 8 hours after you ate it, your cholesterol went down, so we can claim that. And they got 20 minutes on the track. And we would run this before a race meeting and so on. So if some people wanted to stick around to watch a race meeting or our sprints or whatever, that was great. And that's the way we've built up our clientele. In Queensland, where we've been doing this for 20 years, we have about 10,000 licence holders, Topman licence holders, and these are the people who can come out and do our ride days or drifting or roll racing, etc. Excels, all of that stuff came out of Queensland because we do not operate in CAMs at all. Okay? And we have 3 full-time racetracks in southeast Queensland. And the reason for that is we do so much of these, what we call recreational motorised activities, but more importantly, we bring in individuals who want to be entrepreneurs and clubs and so on, so that they can in fact make their own events up as they go through. And I'd like to just explain a bit more of that later, but there may be people in this room who've got an idea and they can get some mates together and come and buy a grid slot in one of our sessions or something like that. Enough on that one, and I've pretty well got there, yes. I think this will work. Optimism's a great thing. Okay. Understand that what we are doing is like a fun fair. It's a retail thing. Just as you would expect to be able to walk into David Jones or Myers or whatever and buy something, you should be able to buy something that you want to do for the day, or an event of something of that nature. So again, you don't have to join a club, you don't have to be part of a club. Yeah, but if you are a club, you can come along just as much as you can if you're an individual, like somebody who runs one of the virtual clubs. And most of the traffic today that we get comes from what I call the virtual clubs, forums. All right. One licence covers all your activities, so that if you've got a motorbike and you want to race your motorbike, or you want to ride your motorbike in ride days, or if you want to come and do our sprints and so on, so there are no silos. You don't have to go and join a car club to get, the Chevy. This was what happened to me. I had to join the Chevy car club so that I could go to Chevy events. And then because I bought a Pontiac, I had to go and join the Pontiac car club so I could go to Pontiac events. And I just got tired of that, quite frankly. I'm a cranky old bugger, and I'm entitled to be. I'm also an ex-Formula Ford racer, so I do like to go fast. Everything else on there then makes sense to you. We have insurance, and we have the broadest range insurance of any organisation in Australia because of all the different things that we do. Okay. I took over Queensland Raceway in the year 2000. I was part of the original crew that put together Queensland Raceway all those years ago. And then when Lakeside closed, I went to the council and managed to get Lakeside reopened, and I took that over at the same time. well, in 2009. So I've got about 30 man-years of actual track management experience underneath me, and we run a staff of 23 people to deliver the events that we run in Queensland. The club scene, especially the American car scene over there, is extremely healthy, as you can imagine. There are, I believe now, some 200, and I'll call them organisations, but things like Track Attack and so on. That was a guy who actually still has his regular job, but he runs sprint days the way he wants to run them, and they work. So he makes more money out of running 12 days a year, hiring a track for 12 days a year from me and running his sprints than he actually makes from his day job. And he does it all on RDOs. Yeah, there's some numbers there. We do run events in Sydney. The roll racing that is here is run under us. D1WA was operating for us before Collie decided they only wanted to have cams down in Collie for some reason. Importantly, unlike some of the other major sanctioning bodies, all of our insurance is APRA approved, which means that if the insurance company went bust, you're okay. But more importantly, if you want to go and have a look at Lloyd's of London and have a look at some of their, they're called syndicates, but if you have a look at Apex, Atrium, Caitlin, Market Form, they're the ones that we actually have our coverage with, and they are major Lloyd's syndicates, because one of the things that we had to do, obviously, was CAMS was going to try and shoot us out of the sky, so we actually had to have at least as good, if not better, insurance than they have. So, credibility of our insurance is excellent. And the other thing is, we always say it, you are customers to be satisfied, not competitors to be regulated. And that attitude is instilled into all of the people that work for us as officials. And they do work for us, they do get rewarded, and they are expected to treat you with respect like a customer and not try and be bombastic, okay?
What does that insurance cover?
Wrong. Sorry, what does the insurance cover? Do you want to read the policy?
No.
Okay, so you've got $50 million cover of personal and product liability. So if something of that nature happens to go wrong, so you can sue us for up to $50 million, okay? We have personal accident insurance, which gives you $50,000 if you die or you're disabled or whatever. You get that anyway in the event of a crash, right? That also goes for if you hurt somebody else. Our coverage also covers you against a third party and the third party against you. So that is a broader than you normally get, and it also covers you on the way to the event and on the way home from the event. So as I say, it's very comprehensive, and we had to be, because we knew when we started out with in 2002, CAMS just came after us like you would never believe. And they reacted worse than Putin is at the moment. But yeah, dead set. I mean, we just had to do that, otherwise we couldn't get through the market, and that first year cost us $400,000 for insurance. Now, sure. Take it up, somebody knows it. Would you mind hanging around up? Okay. Let me go back to it. We obviously can't run that number of events ourselves. So we have what we call event providers, and they are the entrepreneurs. So the people in this room that want to go and do it for themselves or have an idea, they come and see us, and it's pretty straightforward. You can read English as well as I can, but the major thing is we want more people on our tracks more often doing different things. And when you've got $20 million tied up in Racetracks, obviously the more people you can get on it, the less you have to charge and the more profitable you come. And that's the way the whole system that we have in this country works, and that's what we're driving for. There's no elitism. Yep. Now, one of the things that we developed is what we call a grid slot. That is, for example, today, if we were running this in Queensland, the HSV Car Club would already have purchased from us a block of 80 seats at a discounted price so that they can go out and run their own session within the cruises. Make sense? So that's how we would support people. When we run race meetings, we sell 2 hours of track time to, say, the Improved Production Boys. And what they do in that 2 hours of track time is their business, providing meet safety requirements, of course. But what they choose to do, whether they want to have 2 1-hour races or they want to do a quarter hour of this or whatever. We run 54 sprint events a year. And the reason we can run 54 sprint events is that for $1,800, a club buys a segment of time within there, and they go and get 20 people to enter at $90 each, and that's pretty cheap for a sprint entry. But you can do that by buying the wholesale thing from us, and then you resell it. And that's how the entrepreneurs make money. Okay, we have the guys that run the XLs up there, they have 38 cars currently racing. We charge them $4,500. They sell an entry fee for $200, so they've got $7,600. So give me my 4, and they're looking pretty good. At the end of the year, they make about 130, 150 grand. Pretty neat model, isn't it? Yeah. Why couldn't we do this before? Because, you know, we have these peak bodies that want to sit on us rather than help us do what we want to do. Okay. So just to go through that for you a little bit deeper, there are races as such deals with 3 different entities. The venue, which is obviously what we're doing here today, dealing with Barbagallo. The event providers, these can be anything from a club to an individual to ourselves. Track Action is our in-house event provider. And the purpose of Track Action is what we're doing here today, to establish a beachhead in an area with a group of people so you can then all enjoy whatever it is that Track Action is providing, and then that becomes like seed stock for you to go forward from there. And obviously participants, which is where the money comes from. Okay. The way it works, you got an idea, you contact us, admin@races.world. There is no .com.au, races.world. You contact us on that email address. We will then commence a discussion with you about what you want to do, how you want to do it, etc. And you can go forward from there if we can both figure out how to do it. We might run it within Track Action, or we might introduce you to somebody else who has a similar idea. If anybody wants to have a look at that process in detail, I do have a presentation here, but I didn't think all of you would want to go through that. Now, what also makes us different is we supply the complete administration system. Now, anybody here tried to run an event under CAMS or RACER or... Right. The paperwork is followed by paperwork, etc. We actually provide the administration system for you to run the event. It collects the money for you, it pays it back to your account, it does all the sign-ons, and it makes sure that you're covered. If you come out here for Moto Ride Day, you'll find out that we do not use paper for sign-ons. We have tablets here so that you're pre-registered. The person who's running the event can see who's registered. They come up there, sign in like you do now for a car at the rental counter and so on, and that's your whole sign-on process. We can sign on 100 people in less than 20 minutes because we're so highly automated on that. So when you get accreditation, not permission, accreditation to run an event, you automatically get access to that administration system to make it easy. You don't need event secretaries or something like that. Okay, not much longer. I'll be going clear again.
Just because you couldn't mouse.
Is that what it is? Right. Right. Yeah, don't do that. Okay. I need to go back one now. Okay. Obviously what we are trying to do is bring for you today family cruising. We want kids in cars. The next generation is going to be getting at least as much fun out of cars with you as you are today. You need to start training them out, and apart from that, I might live long enough to need the business, so please do that for us. With that responsibility, we have some pretty simple rules. And we don't have a book of 200 pages or anything like that. We believe safety comes from between your ears. It's all about behaviour. If people behave like adults, then you don't actually have a problem to worry about. And most of my customers, I'm happy to say, have been pretty good adults. Rule number 1, the overtaking car is always in the wrong. The overtaking motorbike is always in the wrong. Why? Because you made the decision to overtake that person, right? Yes? Yes. Nobody else made that decision, did they? You said, I'm going to overtake that person. Therefore, the responsibility for the safe conduct of that manoeuvre should rest with who? That's right, the person who made the decision to do the overtaking. You would not believe how much that has improved the safety and the behaviour and the conduct of drivers on our tracks. Right? All of a sudden we expect people to act like an adult rather than push them around like they're naughty children, and people act like adults. And it's that simple. So rule number 1, the overtaking car is always in the wrong. And what that means is, in the event that something nasty was to happen and it had to go to court, we will stand up in court as a witness as to what happened and make it very clear as to who was to blame, and that they were warned before they went out that they were the people to blame. Is that fair? Yep. You are responsible for other people. We come up in a society where we all know about, be kind to others and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, if somebody steps in front of your car, don't yell at them. How about they're there to have a good day too? You go and get angsty or something like that. How does that affect your day? Anybody happy about getting upset? Do I have any homicidal maniacs in the room? So again, and any stupidity by definition has to cancel the session while we do that, and we will name and shame the person that caused the problem. So with Happy Laps, we've got 120 bloody Hewlett Packard engineers on the track. Any idea what Hewlett Packard engineers are like? Anybody want to know? So let me go back to it. The stupidity causes the session to be cancelled. Everybody gets pulled back in, and we will tell you who it was that did it. For those of you that don't know quite what stupidity is, stopping on the track when there's a density of traffic is obviously not a smart thing to do. If your car is starting to fail, what should you do? Get out of the traffic. I mean, are you going to go and sit in the middle of the road if the car breaks down? No. So how about you get over somewhere safe? Don't stop and do burnouts. Apart from anything else, the track will immediately increase our fees, so that means everybody else has got to pay more. Do not stop and do burnouts. If you want to have a stab up the front straight, do it. But understand, you're here today on a insurance permit that says you are driving a road registered car and that you are legal to drive that vehicle, because this is a family cruise fest, right? We do have open cruising and sprinting and lots of stuff like that, and we will start to introduce those next year, and indeed some of it will be coming in more this year as well. I believe we've got at least 3 vacant days this year that we can put car events into. We have now run 25 ride days since we started here a year ago. So I think you could say we've got a pretty good commitment to the place. Okay. Anybody know what dive bombing into corners means? Right. Late braking, trying to push through the inside of somebody. Is that an overtaking manoeuvre?
Yes.
Yes. Is it an overtaking manoeuvre? Yes. So how about we don't do dumb overtaking manoeuvres, because we already dealt with that. 120 kilometres an hour, that's about the width of my thumb as you're going down the track. 110, you're supposed to be under road rules. Everybody knows that at 110 zone you're probably driving at 120. 150 or 160, you can bet we're going to stop it, okay? So don't push it too far. Family cruising, we'll give you one. What is it that you get 2 cars going side by side down the straight, and somebody's got to lean out the back window and bang on the roof of the car next door. Anybody seen that happen? So, how about we keep everything inside the car, please? And if you suddenly realise there's something there, if something has gone wrong with your car, again, we expect you to limp it home. We don't expect you to pull over. We do have recovery here, though. We can tow you back in, only a flat tow, so don't go and crash it. But yeah, we can do a flat tow back in, but obviously don't drop oil on the track in case the next poor bugger hits it and comes off. Right, I think that's about me done. I don't know why they keep throwing that one to me. Usual thing, most of you are enthusiasts, so I'm not too worried about it. Make sure your tyre pressures are up to scratch. Most of you know that you're going to be putting a little more stretch and stress on the vehicles than you normally would be. So it's a pretty good idea just to make sure your tyres are blown up. We do have an air compressor here and we can blow your tyres up if they're a bit low. We always recommend making sure they're up. If the brake fluid has been in your car for 2 years or more, then you know that coming down into this very ugly right-hander here can run you out of brakes real quick because your brake fluid will boil. So as soon as you know that that's happening, obviously back off. Make sure, do you know what they call finding a beer bottle under your brake pedal when you're coming into turn 7? It's called a moment. Make sure all of that stuff is out of the car, and likewise empty your boots out. Ask the people next door to you to look after them if you want to, but you don't want that much polar moment swinging around in the back of the car as you're going through these corners. And believe it or not, if your battery's not fixed in position, let us know, because we've got a stack of zip ties and we'll zip tie the thing down. It's very ugly when a battery suddenly falls into a fan, gets chopped up and dumps acid all over the place. Okay, this is how it works today. This is the warm-up area. That's the main pit lane down there. You're free to go into there at any time, okay? So you go past the do not enter sign, which obviously is a great way to enter the track, through the do not enter, turn left, and then we just pull up in this area here. It will help us if you can pull up with your numbers together. So if you've got a 1 or a 2 or whatever, if you guys can sort of stick together for that. When we make the call, group 1, group 2, group 3, then just head down towards the pit exit, and there'll be somebody there that will just check that the number you put on the top right corner of your windscreen is the number of that particular session. And it's pretty easy. All of the odd numbered sessions are on the hour, and the even numbered sessions are on the half hour. You'll be out there for at least 20 minutes in each session, assuming we don't have to cancel because of somebody's stupidity. You can expect that you'll be able to keep just riding around. Now, if you wish to come in and go out again, you need to come all the way out there, up the other side of the barriers at the southern ramp. Come in here, pick whoever it is you need up, and then you go back down here again, make your way back down through the pit lane. So, you know, if you want to go for a cruise in each other's cars during a session, we don't say you have to stay out there for the whole time. Make sense? Yeah? Because every now and then, oh geez, I'd love to drive in a Pontiac Fiero with tattoos. So, that's the way that works. You come into here, it's very casual, you go back out. The major thing is you don't go back out onto the track unless it is your session, your half hour. Right. Yes, you can have multiples, so that's not a problem for you. If you're enjoying yourself, so if I'll do another one, that's great. Sorry.
Are you saying that there will be no co-drivers, passengers or anything like that down in pit lane?
Oh yes, people will be in pit lane. What I'm saying is though, if you come off the track, the only way back in is to go back down through there and then through pit lane. So whether you pick people up in here or in here is up to you. But as long because it's just unsafely, and of course all traffic in here will be travelling at
Walking pace.
thank you. Right. Any questions on any of that?
How do you know when the session's over?
You'll know. Very good question. And the reason you'll know is we will give you the checkered flag here, which means that's your last lap, and there will be a red flag displayed up here. And then, of course, you come straight back in here. So from flag point 10, I think it is, you'll see the red flag. Please do not go around again, because otherwise that big ugly ute with all the sign writing on it will be suddenly parked across the track. And there's an even bigger and uglier guy inside it who would be only too happy to have a word with him. Okay. So, end of the pit lane, through this one here, at least 10 minutes before you know you're going to go out, preferably 20 minutes. That is a nice place to sit and talk, and it's reasonably out of the weather and so on. So we're quite happy for you to be parked all through that holding area there. And that's what I've just said, there's a form-up area here. If you want to go in as a group 2 or something like that, and just say, well, we'll go to the back end of the pit lane, just make those arrangements among yourselves.
If I've got a loose spare in my back of my ute, can I just leave it in where the car's parked now? So
Yes. I can't guarantee nobody will feel it, because we don't know everybody's got it, but you're all mates together, so it's a pretty fair chance you'll do it. Okay, as I say, so we're currently saying, look, maximum of 8 cruises today. We can put out as many as 60 cars in a cruise session at a time. So again, it's pretty much up to you, the free form, as to how big your cruises are. The insurance cover is actually for up to 80, with a bit more than we have at the moment. I'll explain that if you want it, but anyway. But certainly today, 60 cars per cruise session is allowed. Okay. Now, question time. When can I go fast? When can you go fast? Well, there's one answer. It starts with an S. When it is safe to do so. Okay, how fast can you go? About 120k max. As I say, it's supposed to be road rules. That's what the thing says. How many people here have travelled at 120k on the road? No. Nobody. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. No, you do not wear helmets, nor should anybody else in the car. You are travelling under road rules in a road registered vehicle with a road licence. And you're actually on a venue that is safer than the public roads. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
So when you look at it in that risk context, why would you want to wear a helmet? Okay. Can you take the kids? Yes, you certainly can. I still remember one of those, when we were running some of these family days, and we had some kids-only sessions. And these 2 guys had been out there and filled the car up twice and gone back out again. And then we had the kids-only session. So you weren't allowed out there, because some people didn't want to go out with their kids while there were cars out there that didn't have kids. So these 2 guys came roaring in. There's a lady standing next to me on the pit wall. She's got 2 boys. And this guy jumped out of the car and he said, "Hey, missus, for $20 you're going to rent your kids." She said, "For $50 you can keep the bastards." So, yes, that's what we do. A red flag means what a red light means. Slow right down. Find out what the hell is going on. There is a condition. It might mean that the track is blocked, or it does mean that it is the end of the session. So remember, if you see that red flag up there, that is the end of the session. If the car stops, explodes, whatever, what did we agree?
get off the track.
Get off the track, yep. And what did we forget to tell you about? Yeah, I'm sure you'll do that. Yes?
So are we allowed to overtake or not? Because you're saying it's wrong to do it, so are we allowed to overtake or not?
Yes, you are allowed to overtake,
It's safe.
As long
but
as
you
it's
can only
safe.
do it when it is safe to
Yeah.
do so, and you have to take the responsibility for it.
Also, when we're on track, are we single line or are we side by side? Or is that?
You can be 3 wide.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Providing you're not all driving Cadillacs. And if you're in XLs, well, you can be 10 wide, be Any more questions? Thank you for those. What have I not covered for you?
How do we start? How does this race start?
One at a time. It's not a race. What happens is you'll go gliding down here. When you get pulled down, just go and sit against the concrete, the pit wall on the far side there. And then when the marshal has got everything else off the track from the previous session, he'll just wave you out and you just fly out. Yep. There's no standing stars, no burnouts, no dropping of a green flag. Well, it might be a green flag, I don't know how he's going to do it. But usually we just go you out, away we go. And you just follow the guy in front of you. Yep. Now, there is for those of you who want to watch it, there is a driver's briefing that we use at Lakeside, which might give you a better idea of what we're aiming to achieve for West Australia and whether or not it's the kind of thing that you'd like to see here. Our typical theme days, we call them, we run chrome bar. That's so anything that's got a steel bar. So that basically takes up to about 1980. We run All Australian Father's Day and All Australian Aussie Day. We run All American, All Euro, All Asian. These are all what we call the theme events. So there is some overriding theme for those events. We have cruising for about 12 sessions, and then we will have a track attack session. That might be roll racing, it might be sprinting, depending on what the particular groups wish to do. Surprisingly enough, for the Americans, it's always the drag racing. So. Yes?
Red flag and yellow flags here, are we using yellows?
No.
No, I put a flag.
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you want to use the black flag in some
You
way?
could use the black flag if you saw somebody that you thought was ugly, yes. But the red flag is the only flag you need to know. And the checkered flag, of course, when you go past there. All right. Can I have some feedback, please? Does this sound like the kind of thing that you guys need in this state?
Yep.
Well, we'll get some more dates out. Obviously, we've done a bit of a job to get out there so far. I can only ask if you would just spread the word of what we are and what we do. We're not wise men from the east. We're here to have fun and games. That's been my entire life. I learned to drive when I was 12 on the farm in a 1932 bloody Ford V8, and I've never wanted to get out of the car since. As you can see, you've got an enthusiast for a change instead of somebody that wants to be a bureaucrat.
Have you had any sprints or hill climbs yet? Yeah.
We have not. I'm sorry, my hesitation is this. Have we actually accredited any? Yes, I'm pretty sure we have. Have we, through Track Action, run any at this stage? No. But that is exactly what we do. We go, if you've got a venue, like Mackay, okay? There's a bit of a club in Mackay. They wanted to run a hill climb. We went and had a look at the road with them. We gave them in fact, that's a separate presentation. I'd be more than happy to share that with you. But we told them how to do it, where to put the chicanes, where the start finish lines are, all of that sort of stuff. And now they can go and run that as an event. You wouldn't believe this, the Nambour Showground, we run sprints on the perimeter track around the Nambour Showground. Right? So it's pretty easy to find bits of bitumen that are not being used a lot and saying, well, could we do something on here? A, can we make it safe enough? B, can we make it a business? And C, are there people who want to do it and support it, and especially at the local government level? So, yeah. So, more than happy to share that one, that presentation with those of you who would like to know more about our processes, our insurance and all that sort of stuff, and how we actually do things. As you gather, we're more about getting it done rather than finding reasons why you shouldn't do it. Anything else? Yeah?
Cars that will bring up to the street legal. No.
Yes. Yes. Bear in mind, we put this one in as a family cruise. Now, we started Power Cruise with Gup way back in Yup has taken that both all around here and internationally, and we have provided his insurance for all of those events. So we can do high power cruising. To give you an idea, if I'm right, we would be running 45 student events this year, 20 something roll racing events, 54 sprint events, 17 race meetings, shitloads of happy laps, stuff like that. And then on top of that, we've got 45 motor ride days. We also specialise, well, we didn't specialise in it. We have gear, for example. Gear is Golden Era auto racing. It's the cars that were built, racing cars that were built prior to 1970 or 75 now. And so we've got a bunch of old guys that come out, they play with their cars. Normally they can't get on the track, but they can come along to these days, they get the bonhomie of mixing with, you know, birds and feathers and so on. You might have noticed there was an expression up there called SIG. Well, that's a specific interest group, so that's the, you know, that's the Chevy Bel Air, or one of the groups we have is the shoebox group. Guess what the shoebox group is? Nobody got it? 55, 56, 57 Chevys. So that's the kind of special groups that just come along and have a day. So they get their cars out of the garage, and better still, it gets them out from under their wife's feet for, maybe a whole day sometimes. And we do that same sort of thing for the old guys with the motorbikes. So we run those sessions, and you'll be surprised, 85, 90 people will turn up for that. We run 12 of those a year on the road. Excellent. Well, I seem to have stunned you into song. I thought it was important to give you some background, not just, hey, I'm going to go first. But to say, look, there's a whole bunch of stuff here we can do to get recreational motorised activities to a whole new level in West Australia, and I'd love to help you. Okay, let's have some fun. We've got quarter of an hour to get into pit lane and pick your tickets up.